Hi everyone, welcome to Cobalt Academia's Hacking How to video series. I'm Busra, aka RE100, an offensive security researcher and a pentest architect at Cobalt.io. With Hacking How to video series, we will see how to exploit vulnerabilities that we encounter every day during the pentests. In this specific video, we will see how to exploit XSS, aka cross-site scripting vulnerability, by using so many scenarios. If you're ready, let's jump in. In this video, I will show you how to exploit XSS, aka cross-site scripting vulnerability to conduct LFI attacks. So I will be using the box book from HacktheBox, and I really enjoyed this box because you're seeing a different scenario than just stealing cookies or passwords using the XSS, stored XSS vulnerability. We will be reading files, local files on the server, and let's jump in. So there is a authentication bypass vulnerability which allows you to log in as admin. There are two files that we are interested in. The one is index.php file, and the other login area was admin/index.php. So we logged in the same way how we bypass authentication in the sign up functionality. I will not go over this since this is not a box walkthrough for this box. I will just jump in from the place how we can exploit XSS vulnerability. So XSS issue appears under collections for book title input area. So I will be using this cheat sheet book.hacktricks.xyz. This is a really cool website that I really like. So it shows you the JavaScript code for reading local files. It's really important to understand those JavaScript codes because at some point in the pentest or bug bounty, you will realize that you need to write the code. I mean, it doesn't need to be like so many lines, but you need to understand and be able to read and write these JavaScript codes. So I will be copying this and we'll go to Sublime. I will paste this and I will see if I need to modify anything. We don't need V2A. I think it looks good. Let's see, I will copy this, go to my normal login page instead of admin panel. I will go to collections. For book title, I will just write this, and for author it can be test, and I will browse to a file. It can be a PDF file, it can be an HTML file, doesn't matter. I will just upload it to collections. It will give me the message, thanks for submission. We will evaluate and update the list. Okay, and we will go to admin panel now to see the collections. I will refresh the page, and for under collections I will export the PDF file, and here I can close this tab. Comes from other tries. I will save the file. We'll open another tab. I can close this one too. Root downloads, the last file that I downloaded. It should be this one. When I open it, it should give me the content of etc passvd file. As this. So from there, you can read the SSH files to log in as one of these users. Since this is not a walkthrough for the box, I will not cover the details, but you should be aware of these scenarios when you find an XSS vulnerability on a pentest, on a bug bounty, that these actions are also possible. I will try to include an RC scenario in XSS video. In this video, we will see how to exploit XSS vulnerability, which will later cause an RCE, remote code execution vulnerability. So we are solving Holiday from HacktheBox, and if you're ready, let's jump in. So I already did my basic enumeration and are already logged into the application. When I go one of these UUIDs, I see that there is one node section in here. So the first thing I will try is I want to see if this is vulnerable to XSS vulnerability. So I will be using the following payload. This is my IP address, and this is the port that I will open now with simple HTTP server. So as you can see the note here, the notes need to be approved by administrator. So this process will probably take like up to 1 minute. I'm adding the note and waiting for a minute to see if I will get the response or not. So approximately in a minute, I get the response. So I'm validating that this place is vulnerable to XSS. So after hovering around, trying to see which is blocked, what kind of payload we can use, I realized that I need to use code to bypass all the restrictions. So in order to write code for any string, I wrote the following code encoder in Python, and I will just write the following JavaScript code to encode with code. So I get my value in here with separated by commas. So I will add this and we'll use another JavaScript payload in here to add this code encoded JavaScript code. So the payload I will use will be this, and I will write my code in here. So let's go back here and copy the encoded value. I'll write it in here and continue running the simple HTTP server. I'll add this and we'll wait. The reason why I'm doing it is that since administrator needs to approve all the nodes, he will go and check this node. So I want to steal his cookie or her cookie so that I can impersonate the admin. So we will wait until we see the cookie value in here. So as you can see, we get the value, and we will copy this. As you can see, this is URL encoded. We need to decode it first. So I'm going to burp and writing this value saying smart decode, and that's the decoded value now. So I will go to cookie manager, manage all cookies. So let's see, this is the cookie value that I have. I will change this to the new value, save it, and refresh the page. When I refresh it, I see that there is an admin tab comment. So from there, I tried the admin endpoint, and when I try it, I saw that there is like this export page. So the next thing that I will do is I will fire up burp, intercept off, and I will be exporting bookings and notes. I want to see which kind of endpoint it sends when I intercept the request. So I see that the endpoint is admin export, and there's a parameter called table and bookings. I'm sending this to repeater, and when I look around a bit, I play with this request, and I realize that when I say and any comment that I want to write, we got a comment injection. So I need to URL encode this value, %26, and when I send this, I am getting the comment results for ls for the listing. So I think this was a really cool exercise because normally you would expect with XSS not a critical result like that maybe, but you see that there's an XSS. From there we stole the admin cookie because we knew that admin will check whatever node is written, and the admin needs to verify it. So you know that you can steal admin cookie in this way. So what we've done is we wrote our own encoder. You can also do this with online encoders, but I always like to create stuff besides breaking stuff. So I wrote a really quick encoder in Python and wrote my JavaScript code to steal the cookie. And this is the value that we get, and we wrote this as a node with the XSS payload. We send this code and realized that the admin endpoint is vulnerable to comment injection. In this video, I will show you how to exploit XSS, aka cross-site scripting vulnerability, by using Portswigger's interactive lab. There are 30 scenarios in here that you can see in real life, in pentest, in bug bounty. which are pretty cool because there are 3 levels. Starts with apprentice, which are more beginner level exercises, and then practitioner, which are more intermediate level exercises, and expert for advanced level exercises. There are 8 exercises as apprentice, let's call beginner, and if you're ready, let's jump in. So the first one is reflected XSS into HTML context with nothing encoded. That's the most basic scenario you can see. Whatever input you're writing is reflected. It's going to be in the search option in here. Let's write something like a keyword with some special characters. And as you can see, it's reflected. If you're checking out the source code, it's also reflected in here without any encoding. So what I can write here is the most basic code, such as this. Or you can write script alert 1, they should both work. There is no encoding at all. So the first one is gone. I'm removing this from the tabs. So the next one is stored XSS into HTML context with nothing encoded. Instead of reflected XSS, that's going to be stored every single time it's triggered. It will just give us the alert. So there is an input box here as comment. I will just write the most basic payload as script alert when, and then close the tag. Okay, if I didn't do any typos, you can write anything in here. Blah blah. Okay, it does check. This back to block. It's when, if I refresh page again, it's still there because it's stored. So that's pretty the same as the first exercise because there's no encoding happening. So let's close these tabs and jump into the next one. So this is a reflected XSS into attribute with angle brackets, HTML encoded. So let's access lab. So I will use the search option again. I'm writing my same input here. I'm sending it. Let's see the source code for Kalisa. So Kalisa, the input appears in 2 places. This is the first one and this is the second one. So I'm interested in this one more because it's already in the input tag. So what I can do is I can continue with the input tag here. So what I will do is since double code is not encoded here, I will just close this value and will continue to solve it. For instance, I can use on mouse over. I will write alert when and double quote will be closed after this. And it's reflected now. So this was again easy. I'm closing this. And the next exercise is stored XSS into anchor href attribute with double quotes HTML encoded. So we can't use double quotes as it's HTML encoded, but we will do it in the attribute href. I'm accessing the lab. So I just go for the one of the posts. I will write a comment. This is stored XSS as you remember. Let's write something with the special characters. Anything that can apply here. And I'm saying post comment. Now back to blog. I will go for the comment and it appears in one place with P. And as you can see, double quote is encoded in here. I go there. When I click there, it gives me alert 1. So we jump into the 5th exercise now. So the next exercise has reflected XSS in the JavaScript string with angle brackets HTML encoded. So let's see what's the scenario in here. We're jumping in. We are writing something for the search option. Let's write a keyword and then special characters. Search for it. Go to the source code. Search for Kalisa. And there are two appearances. One of them is in the script tag for var search terms. Kalisa, little than and greater than are both encoded. So what I can do here is that I can close the single quote and then write my value in here. Thinking what I can write. So if you check it online for some research, use when input lands in a script block inside a string delimited value. That's what we are going to use. Dash. Yeah. This one works now. So the next apprentice exercise, beginner exercise we have is DOM XSS this time, and document.write sync using source location.search. We're accessing the lab. This is the 6th exercise we're doing right now. So what we're going to write is, again, Kalisa, just special characters. I'm going to search for it. So it's reflected in here. I'm going to inspect this element. I will see which kind of HTML code this one has. If I can search for it, yeah. It's going to be in here and there. And will be located in here. So what I can do is I can close the double quote and then write my XSS payload like the following. The most basic ones, short ones. When I do this, close this. When I do this, it's reflected. All right, that's another easy one. Let's close these and jump into the 7th exercise. We're almost finishing the apprentice level in here. As you can see, they're not that painful. So the next one is DOM XSS and innerHTML sync using source location.search. So let's see. This again, DOM XSS. What I'm going to write is I'm going to write Kalisa and special characters that I'm always adding. So I will write an image tag, source 1, and on error, alert when. Yeah. So this one works. This one also, and this was an easy one. The next and the last exercise for the apprentice level is DOM XSS in jQuery anchor href attribute sync using location.search source. Submit feedback. Our vulnerabilities appearing here. Let's see if it will accept everything. No, it's not accepting. I'm writing an email and let's name them as Kalisa2, Kalisa3 so that we would differentiate. I will say submit feedback. And as you can see, there is a parameter return path post. What would happen if I, instead of saying post, I would say Kalisa4 and we'll send it. And then we'll inspect the element. So if you inspect the element, you will realize that whatever you write after a start, so it will be in here in href attribute. So what we can do here is that we can turn this into XSS. Delete this and we'll write JavaScript alert. You don't need any brackets. It's already in the attribute. When I say back, since it's returning a different page, it's giving me the 1. So this was the last exercise, last apprentice exercise, and this 30 cross-site scripting exercises. I will continue with the practitioner one.
See you in the next video.
Thank you for watching my videos. Stay tuned for more content. Cheers!